Good morning, friends. You are most welcome to Think Eyes channel. Today we are going to discuss comparative ethnography and introduction to ethnography, and our topic is ethics in writings. Now we are going to discuss the content introduction. First we will discuss, then we will discuss ethics in anthropology, historical reflection. Then we will discuss ethical issues, in which we will discuss ethical issues while working for funding agencies, ethical issues related to identity, ethical issues related to methodology, and then we will discuss codes of ethics of American Anthropological Association. At the last summary, learning objectives: after studying the unit, you will be able to understand what ethics are and their importance in anthropology. Be acquainted with the historical origin of the ethics in anthropology. Know about the various types of problems that arise during anthropological work, and be familiar with codes of ethics which one should remember. Now we are going to discuss about the introduction part. In general sense, people define ethics as norms of conduct or rules of governing behavior. These rules are those that differentiate between rights and wrongs, or acceptable and unacceptable. Groups like family, school are considered as agencies where most people learn ethical norms. Although most people acquire their sense of rights and wrong during childhood, moral development occurs throughout life, and human beings pass through different stages of growth as they mature in various social settings. However, very often we come across disagreements on various ethical issues. The reason being that in a particular society, people recognize same ethical norms, but their application is subjective. That is, different individuals infer, apply, and balance these norms in different ways in light of their own values and life experiences. Moreover, at a global level, every society has its own system of values and ethical norms, so it becomes difficult for the individuals belonging to different societies to agree on the same issue of ethical norms. Ethics can be defined in different and another way, that is in the domain of academic disciplines and their research. Disciplines like anthropology, sociology, philosophy, theology, law, or psychology that study standards of conduct in the society have their own set of ethical norms. There are various codes of ethics, rules, and policies in research and disciplines which have been recognized by various professionals, associations, government agencies, and universities. In general, these include honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, respect for intellectual property, confidentiality, responsible publication, and mentoring, respect for colleagues, social responsibility, non discrimination, competence, legality, animal care, human subjects protection, and many others. Shamo and Resnick 2009. Who told about that? Now, reflection. We will discuss about the reflection. David B. Resnick 2009 defines ethics as a method, procedure, or perspective for deciding how to act and for analyzing complex problems and issues. For instance, in considering a complex issue like global warming, one may take an economic, ecological, political, or ethical perspective on the problem, while an economist might exam examine the cost and benefits of various policies related to global warming, and environmental ethics could examine the ethical values and principles at stake. However, the nature of research in every discipline has been defined by its subject matter. Anthropology is a science that looks at different human aspects: archaeological, biological, socio-cultural, and linguistic. Human beings with all aspects of their lives remain in the center of anthropological inquiries, so it becomes obligatory for anthropologists to examine the ethical, social, and political consequences of each piece of research and writings. An anthropologist is expected to keep the socio-economic, political, and ethical aspect of human life in mind. John Cassell and Sue Allen Jacobs, 1980, write, many anthropologists perceive ethics as an abstract and an occasion intimidating set of injunctions Discussion of moral principles such as autonomy, normal efficiency, normal efficiency, beneficence, and justice seems to have little relation to our daily activities as researchers, teachers, students, and practitioners. Anthropology is fieldwork based science where a researcher very often comes across various uncontrolled situations. The situation may vary in terms of people, environment, circumstances, location, position, and researcher may find himself stuck in a variety of duality. In the field, especially, situations may be so complex, involve so many parties and so much factions that it becomes difficult to decide what may be done. V.K. Srivastava 2004 argues that ethical questions start surfacing as the research work begins. He raised various ethical questions ranging from investigative social research, use of pseudonyms, payment to the respondents, issues regarding to the gender of researchers, to seeking for the informed consent. He further adds that each researcher has to address these issues and questions afresh with every research keeping in view the contextual specific situation. Moreover, anthropological researchers, practitioners, and teachers belong to various communities, religions, and cultures which have their own values, morals, and ethics. So they have moral obligation toward their own group and culture. On the other hand, they also have certain obligations toward the scholarly discipline. Since human beings remain at the center of social research while dealing with subjects in their own adobe, an anthropologist should be very careful towards their culture and practices, and their autonomy as a human being should be respected. Should be respected. During their fieldwork, many at times researchers develop a strong empathy for people they are studying and start feeling a sense of personal responsibility for their welfare. This affiliation may only prompts them to neglect many other factors but also goes against the spirit of the discipline, that is objectivity. Beside it also hampers the basic nuisance of ethnographic writings which demand accounts of cultural relative nature. Here, the issue of ethical adequacy rises in anthropological practice and writings. Ethics in Anthropology. Historical Reflections. Murray Wax 1984 claims that from its emergence as a distinct discipline, anthropology has been oriented towards ethics and social policy. Edward B. Tyler 1958 concluded his survey of human culture with the remark that the science of culture is essentially a reformed science. A.R. Radcliffe Brown would claim that he was moved to initiate his studies of simpler people on the advice of the celebrated Russian anarchist Prince Peter Kropotkin. Prince Peter Kropotkin, for whom such people manifested a system of organization which could prove the exemplar in a world dominated by autocracy and nationalism. Srinivas 1958. During the mid 20th century, most of the anthropological literature on ethics and code of conduct was very much influenced by philosophical oriented analogy. Later, the discipline was dominated by the linguistic formalism in the service of positivistic worldview. McIntyre 1981. Although all through this period, many interdisciplinary ethnographic studies were published, where one scholar was an anthropologist and another used to be a philosopher. For example, Bidney, 1962, a professor of both anthropology and philosophy, clarified the notion of value. Abraham Adel, 1955, a philosopher, collaborated his studies with May Adel, 1959. An anthropologist, Brandt, 1954, studied Hopi ethics and many others. So far as ethics were topic of serious concern among fieldwork anthropologists, while the central issues were relativism and interventions. The issue provoked considerable discussion among professional philosophers. Example: Crosses and Meeland 1982, Wellman 1963, and anthropologist example Redfield 1953 and Herzkovitz 1973. The issue of intervention was whether or not or how to assist the people with whom one was involved as a field worker. For many field workers working under colonial influence, the problem was intensified because of the notion that each culture was an integrated whole whose harmony might be damaged by casual intervention. Likewise, many felt constrained by the methodological ideal of the natural scientist who was intrinsically detached from the objects of study. Wax 1984. With the rise of totalitarian and autocratic powers in various parts of the world, which conquered, enslaved, or massacred many people, it encouraged anthropologists to serve in a variety of capacities. The wave of free world was raised all around, and because of their cross-cultural training in United States, a number of anthropologists were recruited for numerous services including military intelligence. Even in post-World War II situations, anthropologists accepted these roles and regarded their conduct as simply the logical extension of their earlier benevolent roles as cultural broker or mediator. Federal agencies and private foundations of US started encouraging anthropological field studies even in the far corners of the world, their disillusionist their disillusioned writings were not perceived with open arms by these agencies. Moreover, confrontation of Native Americans with the federal agencies become exciting events for the media but troublesome cases for anthropologists because it was not clear what was desired by or desirable for the larger aggregation or the larger aggregate of the Indian communities. Washburn 1985. As a result, federal agencies along with the military agencies restrained their sponsorship within limits that excluded much of the comparative studies that were the province of anthropology, and this became a source for regret and concern to the younger generation of researchers. By the time United States has become military involved in a conflict in Southeast Asia, the pendulum had thus swung far in the direction where ethics were defined as a refusal to have any dealing with the military side of government or with any aspect of government that seemed to sustain an imperialistic orientation. Barenman et al. 1968. At this moment, anthropological fieldwork found themselves confronting institutional review boards (IRBs), whose existence was mandated by the federal government as a condition of institutional eligibility for participation in the economy of grants, fellowship, and contracts. Wolf, 1979. Since the relevant commissions had taken no testimony from anthropologists about the moral issues of their research, and the regulations were framed to control the activities of biomedical researchers and so applied but clumsily to the process of fieldwork. Meanwhile, university administrators were using the regulatory system as a device to regulate or even suppress such activities as public opinion polls conducted by student newspaper. The resulting institutional friction generated not only movements of protest but of inquiry and research that have helped to illuminate the ethical issues in anthropological fieldwork. Wax and Castle, 1979. In this process, ethics for anthropologists became redefined as having to do with the nature of interaction between the field worker and the host, and in particular with such issues as informed consent and with whether or not benefit or harm might issue from the project. Castle and Wax 1980. The morality of convert field research remain a key issue. It is noteworthy that this issue could not and cannot arise in many traditional anthropological contexts. Example Raymond Firth in Tekopia, Jean Briggs among the Utku of Chantry Inlet, but it can and does arise when fieldwork is attempted among modern urban population. Bulmer 1982. This upheaval of social scientists forced federal agencies to change their ethical policies and to make them more suitable for fieldwork based science rather than biomedical sciences. As an incidental consequence, the research writings of many philosophical social scientists like Alasdair MacIntyre 1966 and 1981 started emerging in anthropology. Ethics issue or ethical issues. Ethical issues while working for funding agencies. Barnes 2004, a well known scholar in the field of ethical writings, says that when a book or monograph appears reporting the result of an empirical inquiry in social sciences, the author often says little about how he collected his data and less still about the ethical problems, if any, that he had to face during the various stages of his research. In those instances where these matters are discussed, the reader is in a better position to access the report, to interpret its retentions and omissions, and to be alert to its likely biases. Burns, Barnes Burns 2004, compared six case studies and drew attention towards the various ethical issues which were paid less attention before. Firstly, he pointed out the differentiation of problems between studying of one's own society and to study a society with a different culture from its own. Reflection. J. A. Barnes has compared following six cases in his paper titled Problems in Practice in Methodology and Fieldwork 2004, edited by V.K. Srivastava. First, the Wichita jury study, research and the public interest. Second, the Glacier Project, the scientist as clinician. The scientist as clinician. Third, Street Corner Society, the limits of participation. Fourth, Kashmiri Pandits, scientists or fellow citizens. Fifth, Hindus of Himalayas, telling all or only some. Sixth, Juni, ZUNI, passing on information. Situation in the field vary from place to place and society to society, so it becomes very complicated to draw a single line of code of conduct. The researchers has to reconcile the pursuit of knowledge, conclusions backed by facts and good arguments, with short-term and long-term interest of people under study, the sponsors of the research, the wider public and the readers of the research conclusions. Srivastava 2004. More importantly, the cultural gap between the sponsors and the researchers and between the researchers and the respondents create a situation where the researcher has to make choices by his own, keeping the moral as well as professional obligation in mind. This is the problem with which every researcher has to deal with very carefully. Impact and reaction of the final conclusion of the report, and research may call appreciation as well as hesitations from both the sides, that is paymaster and the public. This is one of the ethical issues where an anthropologist has to behave subjectively without hampering the objective spirit of the discipline. Dealing with the condition of duality between objectivity and subjectivity becomes a Herculean task for the researcher. Ethical issues related to identity. As we already know that once a researcher goes to the field, the first step one is expected to take is rapport establishment. The problem of ethical code of conduct begins from here itself when a researcher introduces him or herself to the respondents or any other person of the field. Sometimes situation arises whether he or she should reveal his or her own identity or should work with a mistaken identity. In more or in most cases, it is observed that people in the rural or tribal areas in India start assuming the researchers either as a governmental officials or an aid provider from one of the NGOs. In that case, the very purpose of data collection hampers. People start expecting some sort of aid in terms of monetary gains or in kind. They start complaining about their poor economic conditions, health problems, low life order, and other socio-economic problems. However, situation goes worse when the researcher reveals his identity and tries to make them understand that his only purpose is to know their culture and way of life. Respondents lose interest in talking to the researcher and most of the time think it is a waste to talk to researcher as it would not mean any gain to them. Here the issue of identity plays at the ethical ground. Anthropologist, as per the ethical code of conduct, is expected to reveal his identity to the people of fieldwork area. But many a times it obstructs data collection as people try to avoid the conversation with the researcher or give him the colored version. Here, the whole purpose of finding the realities behind the social fabric goes in vain, and this is also considered as an implement in rapport establishment with which a researcher has to face the ethical issues related with his identity. Another ethical dilemma arises at the time of writing the ethnography or about the fieldwork experiences or making the report based on the fieldwork. The first and the most important issue is the use of pseudonyms in the report. Using the hypothetical names in place of their original names for the village organization and or the concerned respondents is seen in relation with maintaining confidentiality in the research. Majority of the funding agencies insist to give respect for the anonymity and privacy of those who participate in research. Personal information concerning research participants should be kept confidential. One of the reasons of using pseudonyms seems to be an outcome of such demands. Anonymity and practice of pseudonyms at times become a matter of subjectivity for researchers. It would be clear after reading the two cases given in the boxes. Here, one case deals with the declination of anonymity, while another case talks about the revisit of anonymity. In both the cases, anonymity was finally maintained and pseudonyms were used. Moreover, it is felt that it is the field worker's responsibility to ensure or to assure that informed choices are made. Our researchers is obligated to make the final decision in terms of serving the best interest of the community well, and the interest of the discipline. One one should protect the anonymity of the community but should acknowledge the support and assistance of specific community people by name. Case